What up, guys? Mad Viking here. Second attempt on this video. I am not having luck with these videos. Last couple ones, I was in the final stage of finishing this video out, and I ran out of storage space. So, round two. This is for the Double or Nothing pay-per-view they just got done watching, which was fantastic. Totally worth watching. Definitely worth $50. There's nothing for me to complain about. I missed the buy-in at 7:30. I didn't even get in until 10 minutes before this pay-per-view. So I don't know who won between Best Friends and Private Party, but good guess is Best Friends won. So I'm going to get into the casino ladder match. If quick refresh, there was Kaz, Scorpio Sky, Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy, Colt Cabana, Sabin, Luchasaurus. Ray Phoenix was replaced with Joey Janela. Told you in the predictions video that he got injured and he probably wasn't going to be in this match, which he wasn't. What was it? Kaz and Scorpio Sky started it out. They stayed basically neutral, didn't do anything. They waited for the next guy to come in, which was Sabin. Sabin came out with a Jimmy Havoc, who for whatever reason was interfering in the match right off the bat, beating up on Kaz and Scorpio. And Penelope Ford got involved at points. I didn't get whatever, I guess anything goes in the match. Next out came Darby Allin, who did just 6 spot after 6 spot. I thought he shattered his knee or broke his leg at some point. He did a spot off, I don't know, 15-foot, 20-foot ladder. Well, with his skateboard, he had Kaz from spread across the ladder on the guardrail to the ring, and he got on top of his ladder and jumped off, doing like an ollie on a skateboard. I don't even know if he hit Kaz, because the angle didn't quite catch it, the camera angle, but he landed on the skateboard onto something, the ladder, Kaz, I don't know. And when he hit, he went off falling knee first and slammed on the concrete like that. And he popped up like a fish out of water, screaming. And he disappeared after that for a while. I thought he was out of the match. He did pop back into the match at one point. After Darby Allin came Orange Cassidy, who did stupid comedy spots like he didn't know how a ladder works. And then Colt Cabana came out and smashed on him for a while. Joey Janela came out and did a bunch of crazy spots. He took everybody out at one point. Then next came Luchasaurus, who roughed everyone up as well. Mystery Man came out, and I think I mentioned his name in the predictions video, but in the predictions video I was trying to see Jeff Cobb. That's who I couldn't say in the video. I couldn't remember. I was predicting it was possibly going to be Jeff Cobb, but I did mention Brian Cage because he was supposed to have been signed months ago. But he did get injured before he left Impact, and I'm sure that's what he was doing this. I think he had to have shoulder surgery. But he came back, had a bunch of power moves. One point he gorilla pressed Darby Allin. He had him on a ladder, gorilla pressed him over his head, and then chucked him out onto the floor like that. It got to a point after everybody got tired of being beaten up by Brian Cage, they basically just started throwing everything they could on him around the ring. Guardrails, chairs, the poker chips for Double or Nothing, the big life-size ones from last year, tables, whatever it was, to hold him down, to hold him under it. Darby Allin, I forget who it was, he did a backflip off the ring apron with somebody on his shoulders, landing on Cage underneath all that pile of mess, which hulked Cage up after that. He just threw all the crap off of him and went nuts. He basically took everybody out. He brawled with Luchasaurus for a while. It came down to Kaz and Scorpio on the ladder fighting over the chip, and then he took them out, and of course Brian Cage won. He won the Casino Battle Royal match. Now he gets to either face Cody Rhodes or Jon Moxley for a title match sometime in the future. So Brian Cage has finally arrived in AEW. First match I'm going to go over is the Mgf Jungleboy match. I did predict there was going to be a lot of interference in this match. We got none of it. No Wardlow, no Lucha Express, Jurassic Express. They had a very good match. Jungle Boy shined in this match. MJF sold like $1 million for him, made him look good. But as I predicted, MJF won over Jungle Boy. Cody versus Archer. I picked Archer to win this match. It didn't go down that way. There was a lot of good spots in this match. They had a really good one too. What was it? Cody hit a DDT in front of Jake on Archer, and Jake flipped out at one point later on in the match. What was Arn's move? I can't think of it. Standing backdrop? What the hell was it called? Archer hit that on Cody, and then Arn flipped out, and I forget what happened, but Arn got kicked out at one point by the ref, and even Mike Tyson told him to leave. Mike Tyson didn't really do anything in this match. That was a lot of hype. He sat in a chair and laughed and watched the show. He did stop Jake at one point when he went into the back to go get his snake. He ripped his shirt off. He looked really good for whatever age he is, 54, whatever it is. But Cody did come out on top. What is the Crossroads? That's what it is. He hit like 20 Crossroads on Archer in this match. Archer almost got the win like 2-3 times. He even set him up, Cody up for his finisher, and Cody flipped out over it, and he hit his last Crossroads on him for the win. Statlander was supposed to fight Britt Baker. Britt Baker did get injured. They mentioned it on this pay-per-view. They even showed her x-rays. Their doc guy for AEW was kind of funny. He was talking about Britt Baker's progress, how the patient is worse than the injury because she's quite a handful or something like that. That was funny. But she is going to address her situation on Wednesday's Dynamite. Penelope Ford replaced Baker in this match versus Statlander. She actually looked pretty good because I don't really get to see a lot of her actual wrestling. But Statlander, as I predicted, I said if this match still goes on, whoever they put in as a replacement is probably taking the L, which she did. Statlander came out on top. Hikaru Shida versus Nyla Rose. Very good match. Very good women's match. I'm going to say Nyla Rose is very sloppy. There was a few times where she was either intentionally just trying to hurt Shida, doing I'm assuming planned spots. She was chucking her over guardrails, but doing it in a way she couldn't protect herself when she came down. It was noticeable, but it was a very good match. A couple of good spots, like Nyla Rose threw Shida through a poker table that was set up outside along the guardrail, things like that. The kendo stick came into play a lot. But Shida, as I predicted, did beat Nyla Rose cleanly. And it was very touching because Shida was just borderline hysterical after her win. Mike Knox, or whatever his name is, basically was just standing there waiting to hand her the title, but she wasn't even reacting to it. And every time they'd go and show a highlight of the match and come back to her, she was just crying. So it was obviously very emotional for her, but I think it had a lot to do with the passing of Stardom wrestler Kimura, whatever her name is. I'm sure she was friends with her, and this win meant something to her. So Shida is your new women's champion. Next up, we have Jon Moxley versus Brody Lee. This was a very good match. Brody Lee did very well. This is the best match I've ever seen him have. He definitely can main event. They brawled. There was a lot of good spots around the ring. There was that spot on the entrance ramp. They already had it on Instagram. I'm not sure that was even a planned spot, to tell you the truth, because when you saw the boards and the beams and stuff, you could see they had supports on the ramp for, because that's what they used all night long. So I'm not too positive that was a planned spot. But when they did climb out of that hole, it seemed a little weird because Mox seemed a little upset. And he started, to me, looked like he was throwing live rounds. He was even dropping not dropping elbows. He was throwing elbows, hitting Brody Lee in the head. And then he went for a pin, and Brody Lee kicked out at half the count of one. And Moxley seemed even more pissed off. And he went for this, I guess it was a rear naked choke, but it wasn't. It's not the way it was set up. Brody Lee was starting to get to his feet, and Moxley kind of hooked him around the neck and fell back like this, one-armed. And it wasn't a standard wrestling choke. You could tell it was applied, and Brody Lee was losing oxygen because his face was purple, beat purple. And he had his arm kind of leaned up like that against the ref, and that was the only thing that maybe looked fake or staged or planned, because his arm went from leaning on the ref to just flopping forward. But I mean, it looked like Moxley really choked him out. And if you go on my Instagram page right now, you can see the final moments after the pin. Oh, that just scared the piss out of me. My TV unpaused. You can see Moxley sit up. The referee hands him the title, and he's looking over at Brody Lee, and he's mouthing shit to him. He's talking to him. And then he goes like this, like, me, you. And he goes... So, I don't know. Maybe we'll see stuff tomorrow on the old wrestle culture and WrestleMania and all that, discussing this. Because to me, it looked a little real. It looked like something didn't go as planned, or... Moxley, even when Moxley cut his little promo at the end of the match, when he was talking to the camera, he's like, "You don't try to go above me," or something like that. He said, I don't know. Look for highlight videos. To me, something seemed like maybe Brody Lee was going into business for himself, or something didn't go right and Jon got mad. I don't know. Let me make sure I went through everything. There was the Dustin Rhodes Shawn Spears match. Shawn Spears came out in a suit talking about how Dustin hadn't been here all day. The match wasn't going to happen, and the ref needed to count him out because this was an official match. And, of course, the ref started counting, and out came Brody Rhodes, who served as a distraction. Dustin came in from behind and started beating the piss out of Shawn Spears. He basically stripped him down to his boxers. There was something that happened, and his butt was hanging out. So for like the final 2 minutes of the match, his ass is hanging out of his boxers. Then he gets out of the ring to pull his pants back up, his boxers. And when he spins around, he notices the camera guy standing right there, and he has this shocked look on his face. And the camera pans down, and there's a picture of Tully Blanchard on like his nuts. And so that was the big, oh my God, you saw it. And then, of course, Dustin dragged him into the ring and hit him with whatever his finishing move is. I don't remember. And Dustin won. And I didn't predict that one. I wanted Spears to win. But JR was talking like that was Dustin's final match ever. He's like, this 31 years in the business, what a way to go out. Brandy was crying. So I don't know if that was really his last match. They didn't hype it up like it was, but they hyped it up like it was at the end. So I don't know. I think that's everything. Inner Circle, yeah. Very good show. If you avoid all the highlight clips and stuff on social media, I would say watch this pay-per-view. It was very good. Revolution was very good. This was very good. Oh, the Stadium Stampede match. Crazy match, man. Boneyard match. This destroyed Boneyard match. You can't compete with a company who has access to a football stadium. The Inner Circle came out of like an entrance tunnel with like the flames and smoke like they do for football games, but they came out in like Inner Circle football jerseys, and, uniforms. It was great. The Jaguar cheerleaders were out there. The Jaguar marching band was out. They had all the props they used for the football games along the sidelines. This giant Jaguar head, which came into play later. The Elite came out one by one, just like the Inner Circle, but Paige didn't show up. He wasn't there. So that's how they started off the match. Aubrey, whatever her name is, blew a whistle, and they all charged each other from each end zone, and they had weapons and whatever. That was kind of cool. The ring was in the middle of the field, but they didn't really even use it. Sammy Guevara did a couple of flips off of it. I think Santana or Ortiz did a flip off to a pile of people onto it. And then they all just kind of splintered off in the stadium after that. Hangman Page showed up at that point and chased Sammy Guevara into one of the entrance tunnels. But Guevara lost him, and then when you got back to him like 5-10 minutes later, Page is still looking for Guevara. Then he gives up and just goes and sits in a club level bar and drinks. Omega and Hardy broke off, and they were battling with Ortiz and Santana. They went up into the upper decks. They took out Omega. They put a guardrail across two tables and did their double power bomb on the Omega, and he folded that thing. That can't tickle at all, man. And so he was out of the match for a bit. Then they were beating the piss out of Hardy. They were trying to drown him in the Jaguar pool up on the second deck. And every time they would hold him underwater for a certain amount of time, just like on the Hardy compound, what is it called? Whatever, Matt Hardy's YouTube channel show. Well, they would hold him underwater, and the first time he popped back up, he was Team Extreme Matt Hardy. Then they put him under the water again, and they thought they drowned him, and he popped back up again, and he came up as version 1 Matt Hardy. So then they tried to drown him again, and they thought they did drown him. He was just a floater at that point. They were leaving the pool, and then Broken Matt Hardy came back out, and he got the drop on Santana hit him in the head with a bell. There was a giant bell out there for some reason. Then he duct taped him to a wheelchair, and that's how he was out of the match after that. He fought with the other dude and eventually got him into an ice cooler and locked him into that, and Santana and Ortiz were done out of that match. Hager eventually finds Page in the bar. They sit down. They talk for a second. He's like, "Are you here to drink? You're here to fight." And Hangman Page is like, "Screw it." And they just start fighting. Hager chokeslammed Page onto a pool table, dragged him across the bar like in the old cowboy westerns, hitting all the bottles and the glasses on the way. At some point, Omega showed up and saved him because I think Hager almost pinned Page. I don't remember. Every one of these, like the Santana Omega Hardy Ortiz bit, that lasted like 20 minutes. This bar fight lasted probably 10-15 minutes. And then it went back to the field and Jericho, the Young Bucks, and I think that was it. Jericho was fighting the Bucks. Nick Jackson did a moonsault off a football field goal post. That Jaguar head I was talking about, Jericho threw one of the Young Bucks into that, and all that was hanging out was like their ankles. There was so much stuff that went down in this. And yeah, at one point, Omega and Hardy tried to run Sammy Guevara down in the golf cart again, but he climbed up into the stadium, so they couldn't. I don't remember how the Bucks defeated Jericho, but he was laid out, and then Hangman Page came out with the line marker device they use on football fields and drew a white line up his crotch across his face and just kept on walking. But now it was down to all the Elite trying to take out Sammy. Sammy was the last guy standing. So Sammy's climbing up into the stadium. He's on the second level deck, chucking chairs and whatever down at them to keep him away. While he's doing that, Omega is creeping up the side set of stairs and gets the jump on him. They brawl. He drags him up to this entrance ramp platform, the entrance tunnel, and there was some sort of platform set up down below. But God bless Sammy Guevara because he was the MVP of this match. Oh yeah, at one point, Matt Jackson suplexed Sammy Guevara from one end of the field to the other end of the field. That move he does where he suplexes you, rolls you up, and does it again in the ring, he did that from one end of the field to the other. But anyways, back to this platform. Omega's got Sammy on top of the entrance tunnel ramp, but there's this platform down below. He sets him up for a one-wing angel and no shit jumps off this platform, which is 20, 25, 30 feet up into the air, and they go through this platform down below. And when they go through it, it's all wood and 2x4s and plywood and stuff. There was no airbag or crash pad, nothing. So they went through these boards and then hit the ground, and Bree, whatever her name, Aubrey, shows up, and Omega just kind of flops his arm over Sammy, and that was the pin for the victory. And I will say Omega looked pretty beat, worse for wear by the end of this. He was clutching his back. You see that a lot in his matches. I think he has some serious back problems. But the Elite did go over the inner circle. I didn't circle a prediction there when I made on my video, so I can't say I said, told you the Elite were going to win. But this stadium match, I know I'm missing a bunch of shit. Totally killed anything WWE did with WrestleMania, I can tell you that. And it lasted forever, 30, 40 minutes. I will say this, I'm pissed though, because I keep hitting these people up. I have Cody's number or something. Cody has this number that was given out a month or so ago, and he texts and gives info on it, and he's like, you have a question or whatever, I promise I'll get back to you, which he never has. But this show had fans at the show. There was probably 50 to 80 fans at this show, and I kept asking him. I wanted to go to Dynamite on Wednesday. I'm like, how do I be a fan? Because they have fans at that show too. And I was like, I want to be at Double or Nothing. I'm willing to pay. I was looking for tickets online. I couldn't find any. So they let people in. I guess if you show up, stand in a line or something, they'll let whatever amount of people in. I don't know. But I'm going to figure it out. I've hit up Nick and Matt Jackson on their Instagrams, but I'm getting no response. But if I could have been let in tonight, I would have been let in. So, I don't know. Like I said, Brian Cage finally arrived in AEW. He won the Battle Royal. He will be facing champion of his choosing anytime here in the future. He looked great, man. He was definitely in shape. Not that he's never been in shape. He looked a little bigger. So no Sting. I thought that was such a stupid prediction by all these wrestling channels anyway. No Rusev. I kind of predicted him. I wanted to say it was going to be Jeff Cobb, but it wasn't. It was still pretty cool. It was Brian Cage. I think I mentioned him in my predictions video as a possible name. Not positive. But anyways, guys, that is it. That is Double or Nothing for this evening. If you missed it, it's worth seeing. I highly suggest you watch it. Avoid the clip shows and actually pay money and watch it. It was the ladder match was very good, worth watching. Watching Shida win was great. A little disappointed with Cody winning, but whatever. It is what it is. So anyways, guys, I know this has got to be a long video. I'm going to cut it off now. Hit like, leave a comment, subscribe, hit that notification button so you don't miss any future content. Share this video. Help my channel grow. That is it for now. I'm trying to think. I'm having a brain fart. That's it for now, guys. I will catch you in the next video, whenever that is. Mad Viking out. Peace.